Hi and welcome to Takniki Gyan Guru channel. Before we jump into today's topic, we kindly ask your support by liking, sharing and subscribing to our channel if you haven't already. Now without further ado, let's begin. In this video, we will guide you through the process of creating a sentiment analysis project using .NET. Let's get started. So, we have already discussed architectures of the ML.NET and understanding of the ML.NET in my previous video. I will, give you the link in the description. Please go and watch. So in this video, I will go and give you a demo how we can create a sentiment analysis project using ML.NET. So first of all, we need some data. AIML needs more data to train it and then answer your questions. So let's understand. So I have two column. One is text and sentiment analysis. In the text, I can say like, okay, this movie is great, and sentiment is positive, means one. One is positive and zero is negative, right? I didn't like this book. It's zero. This food was delicious, one. It means the food is delicious means it is positive sentiment, right? So if someone says, okay, the book is not good, it means the you need not to give that the book is not good, right? It will automatically, based on your data, it will train the model and then give you the answer, right? So it means you don't need to give the same thing like the movie is great, then it will give you the positive, right? So based on these combination of data, if you give this some similar some different text, it will answer based on the provided data. So I'll show you, right? I'm very disappointed with the service. That means it is negative. The contact was amazing, positive, right? Based on this data, I have a lot of other data, so we'll discuss. And so these are the data. Based on the data, we will create. We will um, give this data and will transform this data. Then we will split this data into in two part, as I said in my previous video, in 80-20 ratio. 80 ratio for the training the model and 20% for the uh, test the model, right? And then we will evaluate and then we will predict our data based on our input. So now we understood our data. Now without any delay, let's go and have the demo. Now we are in Visual Studio. So we have to create one empty project. So click on create new project and select console app. For today's video, we'll talk about the console app. And this is core app, console ASP.NET core application, because it is compatible for .NET, Windows, Linux and Mac OS. Click next, say any name, sentiment analysis, okay, and say next and create. Now project is created and we have to install ml.net. So let's import this using Microsoft .ml. And ml.data and using system. rebuild. So you can see there is error ML, right? So we need to install Microsoft ML.NET. Right click on the project and go to manage NuGet package and click on browse and search ml.net. See Microsoft.ml. Click on Microsoft.ml and install. Click on apply and accept. Click on program.cs. Now you can see the error has been gone. So now let's code. Static void main is the endpoint of the code project. Now we have to initialize the ML context now. Okay, this is ML context we need to initialize for AI project. And now we have to import our file, right? So let's import my file over here, add existing item, and I have all files sentiment.csv. If you can see, this is the CSV file I have. I put all these data as we discussed. The text and sentiment. In the text, this movie is great and the sentiment is fun. It is positive. And similarly, I have few one, right? So you can add more and more data over here as per your requirement. Now string project root folder equals to directory dot get parent directory dot get current directory dot parent dot parent dot full name. Okay, and then string, we need to get the file path now. String file path equals to path dot combine, and here we need to give, or you can just copy the name and paste over here. Okay, so how we get the file path? First of all, um, the directory dot current directory and then it will give us the current directory of this parent directory will come to inside the folder we have. Let's understand. Open the folder. If you can see, current directory would be the sentiment analysis, right? Parent directory, and this is the parent directory, and correct. This is the parent directory. Inside this directory we have to go to this directory, same, right? Sentiment analysis is the your solution file. Inside this we have another folder, so we have to go to this folder, right? If you are pushing your um, solution file in the same folder, then you have to take only one parent, right? So this way we will have the root folder part, this one, and then we have to combine this folder and then the file path. This will have our complete file path. Now we have to load our data. So how we can load? Let's say where we have to create a data view equals to ml context, right? Context dot data dot load from text file, and load from text file sentiment data. We have to give two classes, so let's create two more classes over here, otherwise it will not work. So we will create class only here. Okay, so class will say the input class and the output class. So input class is public class sentiment data. Okay. In this class we should have load column 0. This will be the first column, and public string text. This is the first column, right? Text. You can see in your first column is text and second column is sentiment. So we have to create a class on this one, text get and set. Now create another load column 1. Also we need to pass column name. Here we need to pass the column name label, because this is the feature one. We have to analyze this column, right? And the sentiment. So we have to label this column. So public string public bool sorry if you can see this one, this is the string text and sentiment is boolean 0 1 0 true and false. Correct? It's say positive negative, but it is actually a true and false. The movie is great is true means positive and false. So we'll say the boolean value, right? So public bool sentiment get set, right? So this is created now. Now go and create another. This is the input. This input is basically no, similar to this, right? Text and sentiment. So we have one column text, another column is sentiment. So similarly, we will create a class that has two property. One property has the one first column named text. Second property is the sentiment. But we will label as a this sentiment will be as a label so that it should be analyze this column, right? So now another output, right? So public class sentiment prediction sentiment prediction. Now we will say column name will say predicted level. This will be the output column. Let it will be in double quotes. Now public string, not text, public string prediction. Okay, so now I think this is done. Sentiment data and sentiment prediction, two classes created. Now we'll say here sentiment will give the sentiment data here. Okay, and sentiment data file, it will convert our file to sentiment data. Now give file path comma hash header has header true and also comma separator separator there. Okay. So let's understand this one. First of all, we have the file path, this sentiment data, this one. So it will input our file path here, and this file has a header. So you can see these. This is the header, and this is the data. So I am telling him that this file has header and the data is in separator with this one, comma separator data. So if you open this in Excel sheet, it will give you in table format, but in text it will give you data into a comma separator. So I'm giving information to this when I'm converting our data into data view format. So how data view, this is in this format, right? Sentiment data, two column I have, and file path has header and separator character is this one, comma. Now this is done. Now what we'll do, we will split our data. Split, okay, let's say where is split equal to ml context dot data dot load from train test split. Okay, now we will give data view. This data view will pass this, and test fraction would be 0.2. Let's understand this. This is basically we are just splitting our data into uh, you know into a piece. And as we have already discussed in my previous video, we have our data in 80-20 ratio, right? So we are just dividing our data into 80-20. So test fraction is basically 20%, and the training will be 80%, right? It will be split into two part, 80 and 20. So 80 percent will be the training, and 20 for the testing, right? So I'll show you later this video. Now what we'll do, we'll create a pipeline, you know, process pipeline. It will define a process pipeline. So this is the main thing, how we can train our data based on our algorithm. So we'll apply some algorithm here, where pipeline equals to ml context dot transform dot text dot featureize text, same first one, and here we will give some data features, and name of sentiment data dot text, this one, sentiment data dot text. This is done. Now another thing is dot append. We will add one more, is append ml context dot binary classification dot trainers dot s sdca sdca logic regression and then we will close this. Okay, now we'll understand this one. What is this? The featurized text. Basically, what it does, the featurized text transform, convert the raw data into a numerical features vector. Means, so whatever data we are giving, like this sentiment data, it would convert into numerical format that machine learning can understand, right? It creates some vector numerical format in this data, so that the AI/ML can create a vector, and based on the algorithm we can understand the data. And the this one, the SDCA logic regression trainer, and this learn a model from featureized text. It learn model from this featureized text, and uh, and then it predicts sentiment data. Basically, this is the SDCA logic regression. Is basically, what is this full name is, S for stochastic dual, D for dual, C for coordinate, A for ascent, and a logistic regression. This is the algorithm we have, and this algorithm is basically, the logistic regression is a linear model used for binary classification task. It's a simple yet effective algorithm for sentiment analysis when dealing with two-class classification problem, like positive, negative sentiments. So combine these two components form of a data processing pipeline for sentiment analysis. So these two. Now let's move. Now we'll create a model where model equals to pipeline dot fit, and uh, we have the data model. Now we have split into two, right? 80% and 20% in the split. So let's say split dot train set, okay. Now this line means we are training our model using the train set. What is this train set? So train set is, as we have already discussed, that we are dividing our data into two parts. One is 80% of data, and the next 20% will be the test data. So we are training our model with 80% of data, right? So train set is the 80% of data, and test set will be the 20% of data, right? So we are just training our model, right? So once the model is trained, now we will go and evaluate it. Let's say where prediction equals to model, this model dot transform split dot test set. Okay, now we are doing the prediction, right, using our test data here. So we are evaluating, right, how much correct is this data. So it's test split dot test prediction, right? So we have already trained with 80% of data. Now we are testing over 20% of data. on the 80% of data. We're testing 20% data on 80% of data, that model, right? Where on matrix equals to ml context dot binary classification dot evaluate prediction. Okay, now you can see the accuracy if you want, and if you don't want, you can't. Let's say console dot write line accuracy metric dot accuracy. Done. What is does is now it is done. Now we will predict, right? How we can predict now? So let's say where predictor equals to ml context model predictor engine sentiment data and sentiment prediction and model. So how we are predicting using the create prediction engine, we are putting the input sentiment data and output sentiment prediction or sentiment predictions, right? Using this model, right? So it will take in input will be the sentiment data class and output will be the sentiment prediction class, right? This is the format we are giving to the predictor. Now the prediction is with us. Now let's have some loop so that we can type multiple time, right? Let's say when we uh, uh, you know press escape button, then we'll be out of the loop. Bold escape pressed equals to false. Okay, now while loop, while is not escape pressed. Okay, now what we'll do, we'll check if console dot read key, we'll check the read key true dot key equals to console key dot escape. So what we are checking, the console read key dot key means, and the console key the escape, right? The when we are pressing the from here and the escape from the hardware, both are equal, and we are pressing the escape key is equal to the console key dot escape, then If we are pressing the escape, then it should as break the loop. So how we can do that? We can say escape rest equals to true. Else it will go to the my code. So what is my code? First of all, I will say console dot write line. Say, please enter your feedback. Okay, please enter your feedback, and you will ask for where feedback equals to console dot read line. Now where new data equals to new sentiment data, text, this will be the input, right? Text equals to feedback, and where now we will predict sum equals to predictor dot predict new data. Now we will print the prediction. Now this line is basically we have mm, we have the prediction over here. Now we are checking the prediction dot prediction. If prediction is true, then it will return positive. Is if prediction is false, then it will return negative. Let's once more understand. We are just asking for enter the feedback to the user. User will enter the feedback. That feedback will put into the sentiment data, the input, the text data, right? So we are putting data into text, the sentiment data, and the sentiment data will pass to the prediction in this model, right? Pre-trained model. model we will pass our data, right, and it will predict, and it will return true or false, right? So if prediction dot prediction, if it is returned true, then it will display positive, otherwise negative. Console dot key. Now save this and run. See, it will take some time the first time because it will process all your data and train your data. Okay, you can see the accuracy is 0.5. So it is asking you, please enter your feedback, right? Zero point 0.9 is basically the 90% of accurate. It is around 50% of accurate the data. So if you put more and more data, it will give you more accuracy. So let's say this product, I like this product. Let's suppose I like this product. It is negative. It means it is not doing well, right? Let's say something like this, customer support was terrible, right? Let's say there is no bug in your code. It is negative. It should be a positive, right? Let's say your food is great. Positive. If you can see, similar, right? Yeah, this movie is great. So similar, text I have given. So let's say I I don't like I don't like my face. Let's see, negative. It means something is working because it is 50% accurate, right? Uh, you looks good. Positive. Okay. I am not okay. Negative. I am okay. Negative, right? So similar, like okay kind of thing is not matching. So let's put some more data over here. Let's say he looks okay. I think we double quotes. He looks okay, comma 1. He does not responding. He does not responding. 0. Okay. Similar, I'm just giving some more data, saving it, and now run it again. Accurate 5%. Enter. My friend looks okay. Positive. His friend does not feeling well. Negative. Now, as as much as the data you will give to the and train, your you know prediction will be more accurate, right? So there are no bug in your code. See, there are no bugs in your code. It's negative. So we have to train like something else, right? Like there are no bugs. No bugs means it is positive. So we have to train for this also. Like there are lot of bugs in your code that client does not like. Okay, now it will say negative. And if you say like uh, here are no bugs in your code, that's great. Now it will positive. No bugs in your code, that is great. Well done. You have to train, right, based on your data. Like suppose I'm giving more data. No bugs, no no bugs is positive. Okay, now save it and run. This product is good. Positive. I don't like this book. Negative. The taste of the food is fantastic. I don't know if we have given this or not. Positive, right? So more or less it is giving a good result, right? 50%. Just it is well. Maybe sometime it will give you some wrong result because it is the AI one. So let's move to the slide. So we have already seen a demo how to create a sentiment analysis project where whatever we are putting the feedback, it will give you the result, positive or negative format using the AI. So this brings to end this video. Thank you so much for watching my video. Good day and bye.